September 11th, 2001, 20 years ago. I first want to say that I don't know anybody personally that was in the buildings, on the plane, in the Pentagon. I don't have much of a personal connection to any of those situations. I know of a news photojournalist that was there, and he, that's about as close to it as I get. But for some reason, I, like probably most of America, have been affected with those attacks in some ways, still to this day. It's it was, I think it was a Tuesday morning, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. Let me confirm that for you before I continue. September 11, 2001. It was a Tuesday morning. It was a Tuesday morning. I had class at the University of Houston. I had comm theory with Mrs. Han. I think that was her name. I don't remember. It was a hard class. I know that. I remember getting to the parking lot early, like I always did, and sitting in my car, just listening to the radio. I was listening to 104 in the morning show, because that's what I liked to listen to back then. Sam Malone, Maria Todd, and it was a normal show, talked about whatever was going on that day, that week, that Monday before, talk about traffic, the news, whatever, and I listened to it. I think I put my seat back a little bit, just maybe closed my eyes for a little bit, because I was always early to class. It was like a 9 o'clock class, and I was always early, so I was like there at 8 o'clock, 8:10, 8 o'clock, 8:10, something like that. So the first plane struck I guess the first plane struck around 8 o'clock. It is at 8:46 the first plane struck. So I probably got on my car around 8:45, because I was like, it gives me 15 minutes to get to class. I wasn't that far. So I didn't hear anything on the radio, obviously, because nothing had come through. As I walked to class, everything was normal. It was, people walking around. Back then there wasn't iPhones, there wasn't instant communications of everything, so people weren't on their phones. People were listening to music probably on their iPod or whatever MP3 player they had. And I got to class and I sat there for a bit, and people started coming in, and then I don't remember if the teacher came in or not, but I remember people coming in saying, oh, a plane hit one of the towers in New York City, one of the Twin Towers. And I was like, damn, that's some bad luck. I mean, I thought it was a small Cessna plane, propeller plane. And I was like, that guy must have really not known where he was going, because, you can't miss those towers. They're there. They're hard to miss. So that was my train of thought. Just some random little plane, some dude just lost his flight path and hit the towers. So I don't know why class was canceled. I don't know if it was because of that. I can't remember exactly. I don't know if it was because the teacher didn't show up. So I went on my way. I left class. I think I went and sat in the courtyard, listened to music. Again, no smartphones, no searching the web, no Facebook, no instant news feed to think about. And I think I just sat there listening to music. And I went to my next class, which I think was aerobics, if I'm not mistaken. I remember taking that class because I wanted the exercise. I was in college. I wanted the exercise, and ain't gonna lie, there was cute girls in the class. I knew there was gonna be cute girls in the class, so I was like, hey, why not take this class? You never know. So I walk into the next class, and I put my phone on silent, I put it in my backpack, and I'm in the class, and all of a sudden, people coming in saying another plane hit the towers. I was like, another plane? I'm like, geez, what the heck? These guys can't fly. And I think that's when somebody said no, it was a commercial plane. It was a passenger plane that hit it. And I think we turned on the radio, and we started to hear the news and everything, and we're all sitting there talking, what's going on, what's happening, listening to the radio. I was like, we were there for 30 minutes just listening to the radio, talking. I forgot that I had my phone in my backpack. When I got to my phone, I had several missed calls from my mom, my dad, my sister, who was at Florida State, called me, I guess trying to figure out, if I was okay. I mean, I think that's the logical thing you do, is try to figure out if everybody's okay when something like this is happening, because you don't know what's going on. And so I called him back, and I was like, hey, I'm okay, yeah, I was in class, but, I just heard. And she's like, yeah, if you can, come home. And my dad's like, the first thing you need to do on your way home is fill your tank with gas to your car, because you never know what's going to happen. I was like, all right. So I think that's when at the same time they came and announced that classes were canceled at school. So I was like, okay, this is big. So I got in my car. At that time I was driving a Mazda 929 with a sunroof. Yeah, it was a white Mazda 929 with a sunroof. And I got in my car. It was just, September. It wasn't hot, it wasn't cold, but I like opening the sunroof. And I opened the sunroof as I, got on the freeway. My path takes me through downtown. And as I'm going through downtown and I'm driving, I'm like looking up through my sunroof at the buildings, going, okay, what's happening? What's going to happen? If something's going to happen right now? Am I going to witness something? Am I going to see something? I'm trying to focus on driving and look at the buildings that I'm passing through downtown at the same time. Got some gas, made it home. At that time, I think that the towers had fallen, or at least one of the towers has fallen. And I think by the time I got home, the other one was about to fall, or it was falling as I got there. And I couldn't believe, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't. I don't think anybody could. I still don't think we can. I still don't understand how that happened. You can give me all the reasons, and I believe them. I've seen documentaries and everything of how it happened, but it still boggles my mind how these two steel buildings just came down. I watched the news all day. I watched the news all night. I kept thinking, they're going to pull people out. They're going to show people coming out. People are going to be able to get out, and nothing happened. So that was September 11, 2001, 20 years ago. Obviously, for the next following days, following weeks, month, years, you never knew what was going to happen. But eventually, you would think that situation would pass, and it wouldn't be anything. You wouldn't really think about it. But to this day, till today, even today, every time I hear a plane flying overhead, because we live close to the airport, so, they're close enough where they're low enough where you can hear them and see them. And every day every single time I hear one, I look up, I think, am I going to see something? Am I going to witness something that will forever change my life again? Every time I go downtown, every time I pass through downtown, I look up at the buildings and think, is something going to happen to these buildings? Are people inside going to suffer the same fate as the people in New York and the Pentagon? You know, I think about the planes, you know, the passengers on the planes, and I hear that, you know, the recordings of the plane from Philadelphia, United 91? United 91? Don't misquote me, I don't want to misquote. United 93. Thinking, and I hear those messages of those people calling those loved ones like, hey, I just want to say I love you. Hey, I just want to say, hey, you know, what's going on? Hey, I just wanted to call you and, you know, let you know that I'm okay. Hey, we're being hijacked. Everything I heard, you know, you hear it and you know that they know what's going to happen and you know what happens, you know, obviously, but you know that they know what's going to happen even before it happens. And I look at the planes, even, you know, when I'm at my apartment, when I'm driving, when I'm walking, wherever I'm at, if I'm outside, I think of that. I'm like, what's going on these planes that are passing overhead? And is something happening? I may be one in a million, or I may be a million in a million that thinks this way. I don't know. I don't discuss it much. I don't talk about it. You know, as a news photojournalist or video journalist, I've seen some things. I've lived through some things. I lived through Harvey. It affected me, you know, but I see there's a hurricane in the Gulf and I'm not fazed by it. I've been around tornadoes. I hear there's tornadoes. I'm not fazed by it. I've been to shootings, you know. I've been around a guy with a gun running. I ran after a guy with a gun with my camera. It doesn't faze me. I don't think twice about it. I've seen things most people won't see, you know, ever in their lives. I've seen dead people up as close as I am here to you, you know, if you were sitting right in front of me. I've seen, you know, I've seen some horrible things. And nothing phases me. I don't lose any sleep. I don't lose any comfort. I don't lose anything with it. But when it comes to planes and buildings, it still gets me. And it's been 20 years. And I'll watch every documentary just because I like documentaries, and you know, maybe that's it. Maybe I watch too much documentaries, but I watch documentaries on every other thing that I've lived through. You know, if there's one, nothing's ever fazed me like this. You know. So I wanted to sit down and do this. I think, you know, I feel a little appropriate to have this conversation with you because I think a lot of people may be feeling the same way and just never talked about it. How I know that we were all changed, but I didn't think, you know, I would still be affected every time I hear the jet engine overhead. That I look at a building and I'm like, the first thing I think, I'm like, is there a plane just going to go plowing through this, you know, this building? Is a plane just going to just drop out of the sky? You know, I didn't think I'd still be thinking about it 20 years later. You know, you would think, you know, when on the anniversaries every year, yeah, sure, because it's in the news. It's September 11th. It's September 11th. It's September 11th. For 20 years, it's been September 11th. But it's been 365 days since September 11th every year for 20 years that I have these thoughts and I have these feelings that, you know, something may happen, and I don't think that's fun. You know, I know a lot of people do have these thoughts. A lot of people are weary that, you know, something happens. I wake up every morning and I check my phone and I check the news to see if something's happened. You know, because I feel that's my fear every day, that something's going to happen. When I worked in news, I feared it because I knew I probably had to cover it. Now, you know, I fear it because it could affect me personally, you know, even closer to home. You never know. And it's not cool. it's real terrorism. That's terrorism right there, because I'm terrified that I'm going to wake up to something on my phone, a message, a Facebook post or something that's just going to change everything again. And if it changed this much before for so many people, it can change it again, and probably even worse. You know, today is September 10th. When I'm doing this is September 10th, so hopefully tomorrow, September 11th, 2021, nothing happens. And we wake up September 12th, and 13th, and 14th, and 15th, and so on, and so on, and so on, and nothing happens. But I will wake up every day, and I will check my phone every day, and I will check the news posts and the news feeds, and I will look at every plane, and I will look at every building, and probably think the same thing every day, because I just can't get it out of my head. I've tried. It's been 20 years. I've tried to do it. I can't. Like I said, maybe working in the news made it worse, because I know bad things happen. I see bad things, and you know, you get so used to seeing them that you become cold, but you also always think the worst, you know, because that's our mentality. You wake up, you're gonna get a phone call, breaking news, gotta go, gotta cover, shooting, fire, murder, you know, police officer injured, whatever, plane, you know, diverted, or whatever news of the day it is, it's always something. When you work in news, it's always something. When you don't work in news, you probably don't even know. But when you work in it, it's always something. And to this day, I think September 11th, 2001, still in my mind, without realizing for the longest time. I'm going to be honest, I didn't realize it for the longest time that I just kept doing that. Till recently, I noticed, I was like, you know, and then I started thinking about it, and I watched a documentary the other day. The people, you know, they're still affected and still afraid of planes and flying and going into an elevator to a building that's taller than 5 stories. You know, I've been in the buildings up, you know, 50, 60, 70 feet up, I mean stories in the air, and I looked out the window going, okay, is something coming? Should I be worried? Should I get down? What's gonna happen? And so this was a serious one. It's not the fun, you know, fun movements. You know, my son's doing this, my wife's doing that. It's game day, things like that. I've seen other YouTubers sit down and have serious talks, and I was like, you know what, I kind of want to do this. If you watch this all the way through, thank you. If you have the same issues or issues like this, and this helped you realize you're not the only one, I'm happy to do that. If it didn't help you, if you didn't care, it's okay. Sometimes you just have to talk to get things off your chest and off your mind, and this is my way of talking right now. It's my new way of talking. So, I appreciate it. Thank you if you were here. Hopefully the next one will be a fun one. This one is a serious one. It's a serious, heartfelt one. So the next one will be a fun one. And you know, if you liked it, like it, you know, smash the like button. If you don't like it, it's okay. Go ahead and comment below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.